Here are all the pieces of my St. Patrick's Day flower pot all cut out. I've laid all the bits one on top of the other to make sure I'm happy with all my colours and that I haven't missed any of the little pieces along the way. I'll be putting this together with a combination of glue and foam squares. As with all my layered designs, we want to start at the bottom and work upwards. So I'll move these pieces apart now. I'm going to try and keep them roughly in the right order, seeing as I've already gone to all the effort of putting them in place. And this one is very simple. There aren't a lot of pieces to this design, which makes it nice and quick and easy to make. We've got the very bottom bit here, and then on top of that is this darker green piece. This will be stuck on with foam squares, so turn it upside down and start adding your foam squares to the back. Try and get a little bit of foam in any sticky out areas, such as the edges of the shamrocks up here, and also the leaves in this area here. Put some around all the edges, like this. And then you'll also want some in the middle bit here and up here, because if there's nothing in the middle of large areas of card, you can find that the weight of the card, especially when everything else is stuck on top, can cause it to go downwards like this instead of being nice and flat and 3D. Adding your foam squares in the middle stops that happening. For the stem down the middle, I'm going to cut some of my foam squares smaller. Though actually looking at it, I've already got some I've cut from another project. They cut really easily with scissors, so you can just go down some of them to make them small. If you are putting foam squares into the stem, which I do recommend because it will give you a better overall look, just make sure that none of the foam goes over the edges, otherwise you'll be able to see it when it's all turned around and stuck together, and we don't want to be able to see that foam. Next, peel all of the tops off to reveal the stickiness underneath. Bring in the bottom piece, and then this one goes on top. You can line it up against the bottom of the flower pot and the top of the shamrock. It tries to go a little bit out of position because of the delicate stem, so just be careful while you're doing it. I'm going to line it up and then just gently drop down and let go. That way, if I'm not happy with how it's looking, I can pick it up and move it a little bit because it hasn't actually stuck yet. For example, I'm not quite happy with that. That's looking better. When you're happy with the positioning, push down to stick. Next up, we'll add the two little shamrocks in the middle of the outside pieces. And these will also be done with foam square. I'm just going to put a foam square straight in the middle of those, rather than try and get it on the back of the little pieces. These are the same, so it doesn't matter which one goes on which. Like that. Then next up, we've got another big piece, and this will be done with foam squares again. The reason that we did the little shamrocks first is that this one's going to overlap a little bit, so we just wanted to make sure we got those on first. I've now run out of little tiny pieces to go down the stem. It's a good opportunity to show you how easy it is to cut these foam squares. You can just go straight down them and now cut in half. Cutting them's easy. Trying to stick them on when they're this small and peel the tops off of them when they're this small. That's the challenging bit. Okay, that's my foam squares on. Now I'm going to peel the tops off again to reveal the stickiness underneath. Bring that back in, and then line up. Didn't do a very good job there. I'm going to start again. That's better. Gently drop down, check you're happy, and then push to stick. Okay, now we've got the two extra layers for the top. Both of these will be done with foam squares. Don't have to be exact, just get it roughly in the middle. And then smaller one, again, sort of roughly in the middle. That's the shamrocks done. Now we can move on to the flower pot along the bottom, or the pot of gold really, more than a flower pot. First up is the piece with the handles on the edges, and this will be glued on. You can see I've gone for gold card because it's reflecting the light from my camera lights. Gotta be gold for St. Patrick's Day, though, right? Okay, next up is the piece without the handles, and this one will be done with foam squares. I'm going to check I've got this the right way. Yeah. It's not quite symmetrical, so I just wanted to be absolutely sure before I started sticking. That goes on there, looking lovely. Next up is this piece, which is a glue layer. I've got another shade of gold. I actually managed to find 3 shades of gold for this. I thought I was going to have to use yellow for the horseshoe, but I found the tiniest little scrap of a different coloured gold and thought, right, it's got to be shiny. So that's what I've gone for. There's that one. The only issue with putting metallic on metallic with glue is it doesn't always want to stick very well. Next up is the piece to go along the top, and for this one it's up to you if you want to glue it or use foam squares. I'm going to use some foam squares, I think. That was a tough decision though. I did consider both options. There's that one. And then lastly, the horseshoe along here, which will be glued. It's a little bit thin, especially if you've made the design smaller. So just try and get some little blobs of glue in and around the circles, and then line it up so the circles match the cutouts on that layer underneath. There, you can see my 3 shades of gold. It might not be that obvious on camera, but they do look quite different in real life. And there's all the depth in those shamrocks at the top. And that's my St. Patrick's Day flower pot, all done and ready to go in my frame.